the ceremony now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, I will let them in now.
So this was a bit conflicting for us. I'm a big proponent of giving awards and a recognition always in person. And I try, wherever I can, I try to make sure that these people that have done so much for our sport and continue to do so much for our sport get that kind of personal recognition. And so on the flip side, you know, we're living in different times now, and it would be unfortunate to let these people's contributions slide by without acknowledging them in this format. But I will say there will be a more in-person presentation at some point as well. But since we have all these amazing people on the call and all these clubs that are doing all this great work, it's my delight to MC the Squash Ontario Achievement Award ceremony. And MCing is usually a little bit trickier. I feel like I have to come up with a lot of material, but our presenters today are top shelf, got some of the best in the business here. So I don't have to crack the jokes and wow you. I can let my presenters do it. So again, there's so many people out there in the squash community that do so much for our sport. Time and time again, I'm just amazed at what people are willing to give and what the community can put out as a collective. And so these awards are people that were nominated from their peers within the community for going above and beyond. And we're happy to give them their recognition today. And they will be presented, each one will be presented by their nominator, which is excellent and rare. Sometimes in the electronic format, you get a few positives, and this is one of them, having the presenters on board today. So thanks to all the presenters. So Lindsay, I'm just going to introduce the presenters and then go with it.
Yes.
Okay, terrific. First up, we have Brent Adamson, who's the squash director at Urban Squash Toronto. Very near and dear to my heart, this entire organization. It is, if you don't know what they're doing at Urban Squash, you need to find out quickly. It is one of the most special groups in the world doing squash. They run their organization of Jane and Finch. They have 100 youth from the area. They're coaching them squash. They're mentoring them, and they're now almost 10 years in the making. It's just a fabulous organization, and I'm a huge fan. So over to you, Brent.
Thank you, Jamie. I have the honor of presenting the first Outstanding Achievement Award to Lily Gillespie. This special woman has been one of our longest standing volunteers at UST, tutoring our students in the classroom, attending every one of our events, and contributing to every initiative that we do. She takes the time to connect with our students and has taken on the difficult task of being the French tutor. All of us who have gone to school in Ontario have always seen that French is always, and our students are not alone in being a difficult subject for them. I could go on and on about our commitment to the squash community, but I thought who better to articulate her contribution than the juniors that she works with at our program. So I'd like to just take a moment to read a few quotes from them. So I'll start with, Lily always comes with a smile, encourages every student, and takes time to ask how we are. Her excitement to hear about our lives makes us feel heard. I've always struggled with French, and Lily helped me to better understand the concepts while making me feel positive about my learning curve. Lily has helped us, myself included, with our learning, and has always been a welcoming figure at UST. So I'd like to thank you all and congratulate Lily Gillespie.
Thank you, Brent. Lily actually signed on halfway through your speech there. So Lily, sorry that we got started a few minutes early here, but this is recorded, so you will see the whole thing. But thank you, Brent.
Lily, do you want to say hello? You're muted, Lily, sorry.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We got you.
All right. So I'm sorry I'm tuning in late. I thought we were starting a little bit later. Anyway, is this my opportunity to say something short?
Yes, yes, please.
I just wanted to say thank you to Squash Ontario for this award and to Urban Squash for nominating me, and just to let you all know that I truly feel it's a privilege to volunteer at Urban Squash. It's something I enjoy doing so much. I love interacting with the students, and I'm always in awe of the staff and the volunteers and the board for everything that they do and they give. And I really look forward to COVID being over so I can resume my weekly visits. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Lily, for all you've done. That's incredible. Brent?
I'd just like to note that this award was actually presented by one of our students as offering up your name, Lily. So that really, I think, is a true testament to your effect at Urban Squash.
Well, thank you so very much. Thank you. Much appreciated.
So I'm still up here again. I've got another honor to present the next Outstanding Achievement Award. This one is to Pat Richardson, who I was trying to zoom in on his video, and I believe it's the first time I've seen him with hair. Now, my history with him doesn't go as long as some other people, although I did see a photo that was shared by Clive, and it had him in an advertisement, I believe, for a shoe company. If anyone, it's the best photo I've ever seen, I think. The ones with the most hair lose it seems. So Pat's overall contribution to the squash community is nothing short of expansive. USD is certainly not alone in having Pat as a volunteer, as you show up at tournaments and see him everywhere. Pat is our longest standing volunteer, and each year I introduce him to our newest juniors as simply a master of squash. Pat volunteers his time every week at USD, shows up to support and coach our students at tournaments, has hosted USD tournaments, and most recently provided a virtual coaching session during the pandemic. Like Lily, I could endlessly discuss Pat's contributions, but I thought I would share a few quotes from our students. Pat is always willing to answer questions and help kids achieve what they desire for their squash game. Pat always gives good advice and helps pave a future for us to improve. Every week, Pat shows up, eager to assist students in reaching their individual goals. Thank you, Pat, and congratulations.
Pat, we'd love you to just say a quick hello if you can.
Okay, Brent, thank you. Hello, Brent, and thank you very much. And thank you for taking out the quotes from the kids about me going on too long with those answers. I appreciate it. I think, first of all, Lily, congratulations. The kids are really lucky to have you as a tutor and as a mentor. The program's very lucky to have you. In my case, I think this is a little bit premature, but I really appreciate it. And what I'd like to say is, when I see how much Janice and Brent and Roy, the staff at Urban Squash, do for the kids, and no job description could really cover everything that they do for them. I'm also just in awe of the amount of time Clive and Dawn, as volunteers, as the chairman and as the executive director, put in to make this program great. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for recognizing my contribution, but like I said, I don't think I'm halfway there. Thank you.
It is the volunteers like Pat and Lily which help us, shape our students who become these wonderful ambassadors and then go out and join the Squash Ontario community. We are happy to be a part of the Squash Ontario community, and thank you for having our volunteers part of this, as well as me to present the awards.
Brent, it's our pleasure. The whole organization is just is a huge part of Squash Ontario. And for those of you that haven't gone and volunteered yet, like Lily and Pat, you should do so. It's an unbelievably rewarding experience. And so definitely get in touch with Brent if you'd like to get involved. And Pat, for those of you who don't know, I could go on for hours on him, but Pat was my first squash coach as a junior. He's now a great friend of mine and just one of the true gentlemen of our sport. So thanks, Pat.
Thank you, Jamie.
Next up, so I said I was a bit overshadowed being the MC of this presentation because we are lucky to have a Hall of Famer and also the MC of the Hall of Fame, as well as a Board of Governor presenting our next award. And Peter Hall is here today. He's going to talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame, which I think is important because we have so many club representatives on here, and he's going to present our next award. And Peter, I can't tell you how much I appreciate having you on today.
I'm hopeful that he's here. There are a few people that don't have their names written. So Peter, if you are here, can you please unmute yourself? And if not,
he's here. Oh. He's muted though.
what's his name on here?
He's iPad,
iPad. Okay.
alias. Peter, hang tight. We're going to unmute you. There you go.
Okay,
There we go. Hi, Peter.
are we there?
Yes.
Can you see me? I can't see me, so.
We got you, Peter. You're looking good. Pink shirt.
Okay. Thanks for the opportunity to update you on the Ontario Squash Hall of Fame. I've been asked by Dr. Ann Smith, Chair of our Board of Governors, to make this presentation. In 2004, Hall of Fame member, the late Mark Satchvey, returned from a junior squash tournament at Yale University, the then home of the U.S. Squash Hall of Fame, with a vision to create the Ontario Squash Hall of Fame. Mark was successful in persuading the Squash Ontario Board to support his vision, resulting in nominations and the first inductions into the Ontario Squash Hall of Fame in April of 2005 at the Toronto Badminton and Racquet Club. The Hall of Fame was to be at an arm's length from Squash Ontario, with the establishment of a Board of Governors under first chairman Rob Brooks, with a goal to become self-funding, which it has achieved. Nominations would be for two categories: player or builder for individuals involved in Squash Ontario for a minimum of 10 years. The Board of Governors review and approve nominations, but are not permitted to submit same. Current board members are Dr. Ann Smith, our chair, Rob Brooks, Penny Glover, Sherry Funston, Tony Swift, and myself. Nominations and inductions are held biannually in early April. Inductions in 2005 and 2007 were for 5 members, but in future years were for 2 to 4 members. The inaugural inductees in 2005 were Sharif Khan, Jack Fairs, Sue Swift, the late Ian Stewart, and the late Jim Mason. To date, we've had 8 inductions for 28 members, of which 6 have passed, namely Jim Mason, Ian Stewart, Mark Satchvey, Don Leggett, Barney Lawrence, and Jay Gillespie. Currently, the Hall of Fame includes 13 players, 13 builders, and 2 player builders. In 2009, a request for proposal for a permanent home for the Ontario Squash Hall of Fame was sent to all Squash Ontario member clubs. 3 clubs applied, but White Oaks Resort and Spa in Niagara-on-the-Lake was the unanimous choice to become the home of the Ontario Squash Hall of Fame. In January of this year, renovations to the Hall of Fame commenced, but were put on hold until the end of August due to COVID-19. The renovations include repositioning of the member plaques to allow for 56 additional plaques and the display of induction posters, replacement of wallpaper on the member wall, replacement of 2 damaged member plaques, repair and installation of the Squash Ontario logo, replacement of the Friends of Squash donor plaque courtesy of Hall of Famer 92-year-old Ernest Howard, installation of induction dates and all member plaques, and relocation of our mission statement. In September 2017, the Board of Governors agreed that our website could be enhanced by creating a photo gallery of 8 pictures of each of our members to assist in creating a virtual Hall of Fame. Squash jester Al Hunt, who has a strong IT background, was approached to see his vision for the photo galleries. The board was excited by Al's vision, but were absolutely thrilled when Al offered his services gratis. Currently, photo galleries have been completed for 23 of 28 members, with a goal to complete all by April 2021. More about Al's work later. In April of 2021 was the scheduled date for the 9th induction. However, due to COVID-19, the date has not been finalized as yet. With respect to nominations, in the past, some nominations for quality candidates were not successful due to a lack of research on the part of the nominator. I would encourage any of you to submit your nomination for a player or builder using the form and guidelines on the Ontario Squash Hall of Fame website. In closing, I'd like to share with you our mission statement created by Squash Ontario in 2005. The Ontario Squash Hall of Fame was created by Squash Ontario to promote a greater awareness of the history of squash in Ontario by recognizing individuals for their outstanding achievements and exceptional contributions to the game, and to preserve the heritage of the game. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter. And to Al, I can tell you, being in the inner workings of this group, Al is one of the people that he doesn't ever want any recognition or anything in return. He just gets stuff done, and he's a behind-the-scenes guy that has taken this Hall of Fame to kind of new levels. And for those of you younger than me, or for those of you older than me, it's all over Instagram right now. So all of Al's great work digitizing the Hall of Fame, all the youth now can finally see it. So it's been great. Peter, we're gonna ask Al to say a few words.
I have a little piece for Al, and
Oh, please.
if I can, yeah. In my presentation in the Ontario Squash Hall of Fame, I mentioned Al's willingness to work gratis on creating a virtual Hall of Fame by enhancing our website, by creating the photo galleries of each of our 28 members with 8 photos taken at different times during their squash careers. Al digitizes the photos, arranges them in date sequence, installs the text, including the event, host club, and city, plus the names of the people in the pictures, and forwards same to Squash Ontario for posting on our website. As I said earlier, during the past 2.5 years, Al has completed photo galleries for 23 members. To view the photo galleries on the Ontario Squash Hall of Fame website, click on the members button, select a member, click on read more, and click on each of the 7 to 8 pictures. You'll have fun, you'll enjoy doing it. In closing, without Al's commitment of time and expertise, the photo gallery project would not have been completed in a timely fashion at minimal cost. It is my pleasure to present Al Hunt with his Squash Ontario Outstanding Achievement Award.
Well, thank you, Peter. It's a lot of fun going through the old pictures with Peter, and it's quite a bit of an honor to be tapped on the shoulder. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Al, and Peter, thank you for all you do for the Hall of Fame, and of course for presenting this award. Next up, we have, well, it would not be an AGM at Squash Ontario if we didn't have our feature presenter, Jim Patton, head professional at the Granite Club. Always has something up his sleeve, and if not in person this year, he seems to have prepared something for us online, and he's going to be presenting our next Outstanding Achievement Award.
Oh, yeah. All right, everybody. Well, listen, first of all, thanks to Jay Nix and Lindsay, everybody at Squash Ontario on the board, and all the recipients and the presenters. Just an amazing group of people. So beautiful afternoon here in Kitchener, Ontario. And folks, I'd like to introduce you to a very special guy in our squash community that everybody should know about. Now, many of you do, but many of you don't. Just check my notes here. He's a professional ski coach for over 25 years, has played cricket in over 20 countries. What's that, 19 countries? Oh, 19?
19,
Okay,
exactly,
sorry.
yeah,
Well, we'll give you,
you're going to give me one.
we'll throw in Croatia for you. All around the world, and has been coaching squash for over 40 years, 4 decades. It's unbelievable. He's been the head coach of the University of Waterloo for over 25 years, taking over from the great Barney Lawrence. This fine gentleman of our game was inducted into the University of Waterloo Hall of Fame in 2017 and has a squash court named after him. I mean, come on. Like, who do you know that has a squash court named after him? I mean, I don't know anybody. Maybe there's somebody, but anyway, is that really true?
That's actually true. Yes, the plaque is on the wall if you want to go and see it.
Okay, so there's some fact confirmation, and moving on. I still see this guy every year at the university matches cheering on the Warriors, and as impressive as his longevity is, this alone does not warrant all the accolades that he has received. That's right, his web of wisdom and sharp wit has spread far beyond the region of Kitchener to all across our country, and he continues to inspire lives to this day. Oh yeah, and believe it or not, I don't know if I mentioned, he's 83 years old. Are you really 83?
Yeah.
It's hard to believe.
Turning 80.
You're up there with him, eh?
Wow. He just keeps going, this guy. He plays and coaches the game with class, integrity, good sportsmanship all the time. Good sportsmanship. I had a blowout.
All the time.
No blowouts, no meltdowns,
Dominant
no Donnybrook.
factor.
Okay, good
Dominant
sportsmanship,
factor.
and is definitely worthy of our recognition. I'm honored to be able to call him a good squash friend for many years, and I'm enjoying a great visit right now in his backyard, believe it or not. At this time, I'd like to present the Outstanding Achievement Award to none other than Mr. Clive Porter. Look at him there.
All right.
Woo!
Hello, everybody. Is this time for me to talk?
This is your time,
Oh,
Clive.
well,
Take it
well,
away, brother.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the Squash Ontario for deciding to give me this award. I don't know what I did to deserve it, but anyway, it will be very
You gotta
well
look up
received.
here. Look up here.
Oh,
Yeah, there
up
he
there.
is. So people
Oh, yeah,
can
you
see
want,
it. Yeah,
want
they
to see
wanna
my
see your
face.
eyes. Yeah, there you
Sorry
go.
about that. And I want to thank Jim Patton for coming out here and explaining this digital era that we're in to help me out with this today. So he's at my place right now. And as far as squash goes, Jim's basically told you who I am. But there's one thing that I've always done in squash, and that is with everything I do in my life. I've always said to myself, if I'm going to do it and I can't give it all my very best that I possibly can, I don't do it at all. But I've managed to do a lot of stuff in skiing and in cricket and in squash and a few other things. And those are the areas where I just spend a lot of time and a lot of effort to do the very best I can. And I shall always continue to do that. And it's become, squash in particular has been a very big, not just a part of my life, but I've played it for over 50 years. And it's been a big chance for me to grow up, to become a senior. It's a great experience being involved wherever I've been in squash. And I shall never forget it. And I shall try to continue to do it as long as I live. Thanks, everybody. And nice to hear some of you folks that I've seen pictures of you here. I know a lot of you. I won't comment on anybody because some of my sense of humor gets a little brittle sometimes, so you might want to hear it. So anyway, cheers to you all, and thank you very much for this being here today.
All right, Clive. Well, you might have spoken a little bit long, but Al Hunt was pretty short, so that was good. Gives you a few extra seconds there on the clock. So well done, Clive Porter. Cheers,
Clive Porter.
Cheers.
Thank you.
All right.
You've left us wondering who you were referring to that you didn't want to comment on. But Clive, you are a complete legend of the game. I've known you since I was a kid, and you just have such a great impact on the community without even knowing it. Jimbo and Clive are going to be going on tour together now. I think they're moving in. So that's a great friendship that's been formed through squash and will continue. Thanks to Jim. For those of you who don't know, he actually did drive to KW to see Clive today and get him on the Zoom. So Jimbo, well done as usual. Next up, we're getting into the showstoppers here. We have the Barbara Cooper Award and a very special presenter. For those that don't know, well, I'm sure most of you do know, but Lindsay Yates is actually the brains behind the Squash Ontario and now in front of it as well. Lindsay does so much behind the scenes, both keeping me on task and making the office run properly. And she has a number of portfolios that you probably don't even know about. But one of them is gender equity. And Lindsay, has been sitting, not only has she done a lot for gender equity in Squash Ontario, but she sits on a sports organization panel of leading women in sport. And she's been doing that for 2 years now. And she's a leader in this field, and she's here today to present the Barbara Cooper Award. She's also in the coaching portfolio, and so she knows Barbara very well. And I'm just pleased to have Lindsay, A, at Squash Ontario, and B, here presenting today. Thanks, Lindsay.
Thanks, Jamie. That was a really nice intro. I wasn't expecting that. So I'm quite excited to be presenting this award. Basically, from what Jamie just said, there's, my Siri's asking me questions here. Sorry, Siri. So I'm excited to present the Barb Cooper Award, which is presented to the individual in Ontario who has built, promoted, and enhanced the game of women's squash. This person exhibits fair play, demonstrates leadership and achievement in both competitive and social squash. Squash Ontario received several nominations for this award this year, including great candidates like Carrie Chan, Alison LeBur, Sam Cornett, and Marcy Sear, all who are very deserving in their own right. But one person in particular has stood out, and someone who has worked with me over the last few years on all of our gender equity initiatives. And this is Leah DeBars, the head squash professional at Headwaters Racquet Club in Orangeville. So Leah had several nominations for this award from people inside and outside of her club, all endorsing her for unparalleled dedication to squash, her work promoting recreational squash play, being welcoming and encouraging, and has turned many people unknowingly into lifetime squash players. If you've ever played in one of her tournaments, you would already know this, and if you haven't, you better sign up because they sell out fast. There are many awards that should have Leah's name on it, but we're recognizing Leah today for her dedication to the development of women's squash in particular. Over the past 3 years, just as some background, the Canadian and Ontario governments have committed lots of money and effort into the advancement of female participation in sport generally, since right now only 19% of females play sport across Canada compared to 35% of males. So the past 3 years, we've seen so much education, promotion, and policy changes with respect to increasing female participation in sport. However, Leah didn't need any government incentives or Squash Ontario initiatives to develop women's squash. She's been an ambassador her whole life, and I don't see her stopping anytime soon. She's an active participant in any women's masters events, and is the best tournament promoter in the province for women's events and divisions. She's the first to say yes when help is needed from Squash Ontario or any other club to promote the game, and now has her own following of Headwaters Racquet Club members who can be seen at almost every squash event throughout the year. To add to that, Leah has built a volunteer coach base at her club. So several recent beginner players have now become trained coaches and are helping out the next generation of new beginners. She's a key reason that Squash Ontario has seen a rise in women's participation in the past 5 years. So Leah, thank you so much for making our jobs at Squash Ontario easier, for all your countless hours spent pounding the pavement to get more women and girls into our sport. We can't thank you enough for doing that.
Thanks, Lindsay. I'll probably get emotional because my kids are right here, and yeah, they know how much I love squash and how hard this year has been without doing tournaments. But since I was thinking about it today, I think I met Jamie actually about 30 years ago now. I met Jamie and a bunch of other juniors at my first tournament, and I was hooked. And then it doesn't help for sure that I grew up at White Oaks, and I had Mark and Cindy who put on the most fun tournaments you could imagine. Mark would rent buses and take us from White Oaks on pub tours, and there were just a lot of really fun times at tournaments. And what I loved about tournaments was meeting people and just making friends with people all across the province. So now that I work at this beautiful facility in Orangeville, I'm lucky to have 4 beautiful courts, and I can hold some pretty fun events. It's become pretty addicting. I was hosting just 1 tournament a year. As you can see, I have a couple kids here. They keep us really busy with hockey, which, yeah, I know it's bad they play hockey, but they love it. They like squash too, but they keep us really busy. And so I would only do 1 tournament a year and then 2. And I think now my manager is here. She's listening. I think we're up to 5 or 6 events a year because it's great. I love watching people make new friends and relationships at my tournaments and then going home and practicing and coming back for the next one. So yeah, I'm missing the tournaments a lot right now. And yeah, thank you very much, Lindsay, for saying those kind of things. And hopefully we'll get back to tournaments soon and we can have some more fun times at Headwaters.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leah. Thank you to Lindsay. Lindsay, that was an amazing presentation. And Leah, Leah's one of the great characters in our sport. And a couple of, maybe 6 weeks ago, our president, Bob Mansbridge, asked her to sit on our board of directors. And as usual, she put her hand up and says, whatever you guys need. And we need her. And she's now a Squash Ontario board member, as if she already hasn't done enough. And we look forward to having her directly working with the board for the next 6 years, we hope. And all she's done thus far is just so amazing. So thank you to Leah. We'll be talking very soon. Next up, we have our Simon Warder Officiating Achievement Award, very, very special award, acknowledging the incredible work done from our officiating community. I'm going to be introducing Tim Mallory here for a second. I just have a little preamble on Simon Warder and the history of the award. Simon Warder, for those of you who don't know, was just an incredible singles official out of Sarnia. Became World Squash Federation highly certified official, but also a leader and a mentor, and somebody who helped bring along our officiating community. And so every year for the past 10 years, it's been awarded traditionally to a singles official, and we have the best singles officials anywhere in the world. But this year, we're turning our attention, and the nomination came in for a doubles official. And it's very fitting because the work being done on both sides of the doubles and singles coin is just incredible. Our doubles officiating community is the best in the world. We have a dozen or more of dedicated world-class officials working within that system, volunteering their time, growing the sport, mentoring others. And our presenter right now is Tim Mallory. He's one of the head people of our officiating committee, and he's a mentor in his own right, and he's going to be presenting this award.
Well, thanks, Jamie. I've been asked to present the Simon Warder Achievement Award. As Jamie said, in the past it was single, so it's great to see that it's now also including doubles referees, because we do have a great doubles program, doubles officiating program in Ontario and in Canada. And certainly the US are very keen to mimic what we have now. And they have asked us to come down and put on clinics and give them the mentoring of how our program has grown to such a successful program. Anyways, regarding the award, I'm thrilled to be able to present this. I'm extremely honored to present the 2020 Simon Warder Officiating Achievement Award to a very deserving recipient, Mr. Tony Swift. Over the past 6 decades, Tony's been a highly ranked national and international player, a coach, an official, as well as a Hall of Famer, a jester, and member of many, many committees, more than we could know. This award specifically honors him in his officiating role. Tony's longstanding time and passion and dedication to the Canadian doubles officiating program has been unprecedented. He started officiating actually in the singles game and was chair of the World Squash Federation for Rules and Referees Committee. For 10 years he did that. In 1992, Tony transitioned over to the dark side, to the doubles game, and to the hardball doubles game, and served on Squash Canada Doubles Officiating Committee for over 15 years. And Tony was the guy. He was the go-to guy. He was the bastion of the rules. Any questions you would have, you go to Tony. And Tony is also the one that, after he'd been TRing the tournament referee of the tournament and at the tournament from Friday noon to Sunday at 6 or 7 o'clock, he'd get home and he'd get calls from players saying, why didn't I get this point? Why didn't I get this let? But Tony dealt with them all. And he's just been a fabulous mentor to many. He conducted numerous rules and certification clinics and has personally mentored, assessed, and certified over half of the approximately 45 current national referees in our Canadian program, as well as dozens more in the Ontario Provincial Doubles Referee Program. Tony spent considerable time and effort in revising and updating the rules while chairing the North American Hardball Doubles Rules Committee, comprised of officials from both Canada and the US. Tony has also written books on singles and doubles rules and their interpretations. Tony's passion and devotion to the provincial and Canadian officials program has been unparalleled. And To that end, on behalf of Squash Ontario, it's my sincere pleasure and honor to present Tony Swift with the Simon Warder Officiating Achievement Award. Thanks.
Thank you, Tim. Very well said. Unfortunately, Tony can't be with us today. He's with Susan, his wife, who's not well, and he sends his regrets. But
Jamie, Tony has given me a few words to say.
Oh, fantastic.
Knowing he wouldn't be there, just a couple words, as is Tony's way, just a line or two. He just said, Tim, in my absence, please thank those who were kind enough to nominate me. I'm flattered to be honored as the first doubles referee to be given this award. I've always enjoyed the challenge of refereeing, so this award is a lovely end to my officiating career. Thank you, Tony.
Well said. Thank you to Tony. And Tony is a true mentor, and he's been trying to get out of the officiating and teaching people like Tim to take over his mantle. And so I'm very adamant that he's on his way out, but he's done so much for the sport.
Actually, Jamie, I'm not sure teaching people like Tim, but tricking people like Tim into taking over.
Well, that's a big part of it. Well said. Thanks, Tim, for coming on, and I'll be sure to thank Tony personally for all his work.
Great.
Last on the docket today, our last award is our Special Achievement Award. There's only one of these handed out every year. It is truly the pinnacle of volunteerism and impact on our squash community, and I would like to introduce our president, Bob Mansbridge, to present it.
It is indeed a privilege to be presenting this Special Achievement Award to such a worthy person. First, let me give you some background on the award itself. As the phrase, "If you do all you can, it can never be too little," inspired the board of directors of Squash Ontario to create this Special Achievement Award in 1979. It is given at the board's discretion to a volunteer player, coach, or official who has worked on behalf of the game of squash. Recipients are traditionally those who have made very significant contributions to the game of squash, not only in Ontario, but also on a national and international basis. It is Squash Ontario's highest and most prestigious honor. So to this year's recipient. She grew up with squash in her blood, alongside her dad, who ran a club in Clinton, Ontario. She has a marketing background, but this could not stop her from returning to her roots as she became squash pro for the Movati Athletic Club in Brantford. I personally have had the honor to know her during her 6 years serving as a board member. Elected in 2014, I have witnessed her great disposition and her support and understanding, particularly when we had to make difficult decisions. As a referee, I have watched a highly competitive yet uncomplaining participant in many a competition, whether local or national, singles or doubles. Even when a bad call is made, and I hasten to say not by me, a quick look, a nod of the head, and she's ready for the next point. She recently began her new role for the Greystone Racquet Club, previously the Northfield Racquet Club, in the head office, but will undoubtedly help out in the squash area alongside Joanne and Jamie Hickox, the current squash pros. It has been very special for me to work alongside someone who cares deeply about our sport and the players that play it. We, the board of directors, will miss her thoughtfulness and empathy for all parts of the game. And I know we can count on her continuing contribution. Please join me in wishing her well in her ongoing career, in recognizing someone who epitomizes the phrase, "If you do all you can never be too little." You can never be too little. And congratulate this year's winner of the Special Achievement Award, Nicole Garon. Congratulations, Nicole.
Thank you so much, Bob. That was very kind indeed. I feel a little, actually I feel a little spoiled receiving an award for doing something that I just got so much joy out of. You know, spending the last several years with like-minded people trying to grow the sport is really, you know, how do you receive an award for that? It's an award in itself. It's been really a lot of fun watching this team of Squash Ontario knit together and come together. They're such a strong team right now with great talent and drive. I feel that with Jamie, Lindsay, and Lauren at the helm, we have great places to go. And it certainly has made being on the board very pleasant, and it's made our jobs as board members very easy. So I think it's been reiterated many times by people already speaking, but squash is just an amazing sport. It's a wonderful sport. And part of what makes it a wonderful sport are all the people that are in it. And it's been an absolute pleasure to serve on the board. And to your point, Bob, you haven't gotten rid of me yet. Whatever you need in whatever capacity I can help. So thank you so much. And yeah, see you again on the court soon, I hope. And Jamie, you owe me beer.
Oh, Nicole, I always get a little emotional when I see a board member go, and I wish I could give you a big hug right now for all you've done. But you know, every board member plays a different role. And for me, Nicole, you were the person I would go to when I just needed a little bit of support, but you know, a steady hand. And you're just a great friend and a great person. So you played that role for me when I really just needed somebody to pick me up, keep me going in the right direction. That was very powerful. And you continue to be a great friend. You're my doubles partner. So you're not gone for good. And you've just been such a great contributor to Squash Ontario. I'm just can't wait to give you a hug. So thank you.
Right back at you.
Okay. I'm actually a little choked up here, but we're going to conclude. I thought that was a lot of fun. I really appreciated our presenters coming on today. You guys did an outstanding job. And of course, the new board members and board members past, thank you for all you do. Lindsay and Lauren, we haven't really mentioned Lauren enough today, but Lauren is one of the three amigos. She does so much for Squash Ontario. And we love Lindsay.